Welcome back to another one-on-one episode. My name is Josh. I am one of your co-hosts. I am joined virtually, as always, by our other co-host and one of the most familiar names and faces, and not only Realty ONE Group, but the industry. It's Kathy Baker. Kathy, how are you?
Great today. How are you?
I'm good. Sitting with me in the studio is also our new producer extraordinaire.
I'm just here in the seat, making sure that the internet doesn't go out.
Yeah, he hasn't taken his training wheels off yet, so we haven't given him a camera, but you can only hear his voice so far. It is Sivag, that recognizable monotone voice that we all love. It's Sivag, our producer. And today, we have a really exciting guest. He is someone that is pretty well known in this industry. Kathy and him go way back. He is here to talk the future of the industry, lots and lots of AI. He's affiliated with Brian Buffini. I'm going to introduce him in a second, but before I do, I want to know from Kathy and Sivag, what is the greatest place that you've ever taken vacation in your life? Kathy, I want you to start.
First of all, I need a vacation. Let me just stress that. I could use one. You know what? One of the most beautiful places that was super comfortable for me was Costa Rica. Yeah. But it really was, as far as just feeling safe and beautiful and comfortable. So that would kind of be at the top of the list. Maybe.
That's a good one. I've never been to Costa Rica. What about you, Sivag?
I'm gonna have to say Barcelona. The history, the culture, the food, the everything just melts in your mouth. You feel it, you live it. You're in the locals. They absorb you. You absorb them. Mm-hmm. It's, if I were to retire right now or win the lottery, I'm buying an olive oil orchard in Spain. And moving to Barcelona.
That's a good answer. I'm sure I've probably talked about this on the podcast. I studied abroad in the United Kingdom, so it was school, but it felt like vacation for a year, and that's where I would love to retire there, not have an olive tree or whatever the hell you said, Sivag, but I would love to retire in the UK. That's my dream spot. And our guest, Michael Thorne, to introduce him finally, what is your best vacation spot that you've ever been to?
Not a big vacationer, more of a traveler. Okay. And so it makes it difficult, right?
Wait, hold on. When you say that, because I have this conversation all the time, when you say you're not a vacationer, you're more of a traveler, meaning that you're seeking cultural experiences as opposed to sitting on a beach with a cocktail? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Moving, seeing something, try to experience what the local might experience opposed to what the tourist might experience. The all-inclusive, the cruise ships of the world don't appeal to me as much as the travel aspect of it. So, I mean, my best travel memory is watching the sunrise at the top of Kilimanjaro with my father.
Wow.
That was a great morning.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. I'm jealous of that. Michael, why don't you go ahead, Kathy.
I got to interrupt for just a minute and say, man, hearing Sivag and Michael talk about vacationing almost makes me feel guilty for wanting a Cabana Boy and a drink, but there we go.
Yeah, but Kathy, that's why you and I host the podcast and we get along so well. Michael, why don't you just introduce, for those that don't know your background, just give us, 30 seconds.
Yeah. Decided at the age of 15 that I wanted to be a realtor. Went to work 2 weeks later as an assistant in a real estate office. Got licensed on my 19th birthday. Teamed up with my current partner, Jorda, in the late 90s. Trish joined our team. Amazing, Trisha Bongers. Joined our team 13 years ago. Always innovating from the get-go, early on the internet, early on paperless, early on video. Always focused on, can we implement something that improves the customer experience? Even if it's difficult, can we improve the customer experience? Can we improve the level of service and the satisfaction we provide our clients? If the answer is yes, we implement it. And that's exactly where we are now with AI. That's how I went down the rabbit hole. We implement it every day because I believe using it correctly improves the customer experience. That's the way our team's always been focused.
So let's be clear. AI is not to replace the realtor. I think you guys, there's so much fear, and I blame the media. I mean, I'm getting pinged daily about how AI is going to replace the realtor, and it's nothing but a fear factor to both sell advertising and to, I guess, market products. But what I respect so much, Josh, about Michael is he has been innovative, first to embrace video and now to embrace AI to enhance the experience.
Yeah, and Kathy, you're sorry on that one, Josh. You're absolutely right. Like, I have this little thing that I repeat over and over every single time I'm talking about it. There are two losers and one winner when it comes to AI and real estate. This is my opinion. The people that ignore it are going to lose. I was an agent in 1993, 1995, the internet comes mainstream, and there's agents in my office that says I will not participate in the internet. Now, they're wrong. They just couldn't envision how the internet, we're all in different locations right now, all filming this at a higher level of quality than television in the early 2000s. Like, it's shocking where we are.
Yeah.
And the same thing will happen with AI. AI will have a bigger impact on our personal and our professional lives. And the hard part is it's going to happen much, much faster than the internet. So people who ignore it are going to lose. The second loser, in my opinion, is the agent that puts this technology between them and the consumer. The person who uses DocuSign so they never have to sit across the table from their client again. Don't blame DocuSign for that. Blame the agent who's not using it properly. But DocuSign at midnight to get an initial when your clients are already in their PJs is great customer service.
Right.
So finding when to use it. The person that, and there's experts right now because the topic is so sexy. There's experts on stages telling people to make digital avatars of themselves to communicate with their clients. In my opinion, those agents will lose. The winner, in my opinion, are the agents who put this technology behind them, streamlining their business prep, their doc prep, their time management, their content creation, their market analysis, all those things that then push them closer to their client because that's streamlined. If you use this tech properly, you can free up an hour or two a day to spend more time sitting across the table from a nervous first-time homebuyer. And I think those are the agents that are going to win.
So let me ask you this, though, Michael, because you clearly have, the phrase adapt or die. You clearly have this innovator die mentality, which I love, but you've had it since the 90s. You've had it since the dot-com boom. You had it when we moved from, stagnant photos to a video like marketing world. So there's clearly, you have the mentality for it, where when AI became mainstream a year and a half ago, it didn't scare you like it scared a lot of other people. So where does that mentality come from?
Well, I think it starts, 19 years old in the early 90s doing real estate when the only option was door knocking, cold calling, open houses, ads in newspaper, and I certainly couldn't afford ads in the newspaper as a 19-year-old. Mm-hmm. And so when the first sign of innovation comes along, when we're allowed to do something different, I just saw that as opportunity and not as change. I was like, finally, here's something that we can do that will differentiate ourselves, that will give us another way of taking care of the client or trying to connect my value to the potential consumer in the marketplace. And so I don't see, and our team doesn't see, change as challenge, but change as opportunity. Totally. Anytime something happens, there's an opportunity that comes along with it. Now, here's the thing about this AI thing is if we all agree we're going to do it, it's easier to do it now than 2 years from now because it's going to move so fast. It's going to be more challenging. And there's two different types of people. There's adopters and there's adapters. Adopters see the opportunity and grab it. Adapters are the people that it's too painful not to change, so they change. But when they do that, they don't benefit from doing the same change that we had to do. Mm-hmm. They're just changing to not be left behind, not to capitalize on the opportunity.
True story. It's so funny, and I love having a guest that's been through all the cycles that you've been through. I love hearing you say, I remember when listings went on the internet, because I remember that. I had an agent, Michael, you'll appreciate this, and he said to me, and you cannot make it up. You cannot make this up. He said, I'm not doing that. And I said, what do you mean you're not doing it? He said, that's just a phase. He said, it's going to be like a CB radio. Yeah. You know how people are riding around and they got all those antennas on their truck? That's what it's going to be just like. And I said, well, it is worldwide. It is the World Wide Web. And he said, I don't care. It's not going to catch on. And I immediately took out my checkbook because we were still writing checks in. And I wrote a check to the Board of Realtors. And I said, immediately sign up for the class and take the class. And here's what I knew, Josh. I knew he would not listen to me. I knew he was too close to me. One thing I love about what we're doing with Buffini and Company and Michael's addition is Michael is a subject matter expert. Mm-hmm. What to pass to our viewers right now is Josh and I are writing the check, and Michael is the subject matter expert to the point that you've done a boot camp. Right? Yeah. Tell us about what that next level looks like. Because don't you love that adoption and adaption? I hadn't really thought about that, but that's powerful.
Yeah, so for the last 2 years, I've been ringing the bell of opportunity when it comes to AI. And I'll spend an hour with a group of people. And here's the thing. At the beginning of each one of my talks, I ask the audience, are you a what's AI person? Are you a beginner? Are you an intermediate? And then I take expert off the table. There are no experts. It's too new. It's too fast. And 30% of the room, 30 to 40% of the room say they're intermediate users. At the 75-minute mark of the presentation, or 75% mark of the presentation, I then ask again how many people in the room are intermediates. And it goes from 30% down to about 1%. And I tell people that that's what's going to happen. What I say at the beginning of the talk is that when you realize you're not an intermediate anymore, please realize that's a really exciting thing. That means the opportunity is much bigger than you perceived it to be. If you then realize, oh my goodness, I'm a beginner, then you realize the opportunity is much bigger. And then what would happen at the end of my talk, I would get a long line of agents, and I sit there and answer every one of the questions. I love interacting with agents. They're my people. And they say things like, now what? And I went, I don't know. They're like, I now know that I'm a beginner. I now know this is important. Now what do I do? And about a year and a half ago in Las Vegas, Darren Dawson from Buffini Company saw that long line of agents and said, what are the people asking you? And I said, it's the same thing every single time. Now what? Now what do I do? Because if I gave you 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, we wouldn't get through all the things you need to know. It's like saying, can you please explain the internet in an hour? How can you possibly do that? And so Darren's like, we need to solve this problem. And I said, I would love to solve this problem. So the only way to do it is for it to be ongoing education every month, bringing you the latest things that's happening, keeping you up to date, giving you the actual things. And here's the other thing. I'm a practicing real estate agent, have been for 32 years. There is nothing I have ever shared that I haven't done in my own business. There's nothing I've ever talked about. And so, we're going to give people the prompts. We're going to give people the skills. And one of the biggest things they have is, I'm going to get left behind, that fear. Yes. No, you won't. Just show up, learn, and then implement, and which is the big key. Implement it and then come back the next month and we'll just keep building off of it. So it's really just answering a need of these people who I have such a soft spot for. I love agents, and they're so busy that some of them are raising their heads going, I'm getting left behind, and I don't want that to happen to anybody.
I love everything that you just said, and Sivag knows because I've probably said this to him 1,000 times, but I always use the comparison of where we are at right now as a society with AI is the wild, wild west. Absolutely. It's scary. It is really daunting. It's something that you've never seen before, but the amount of opportunity is literally endless, and you can do whatever you want, assuming that you have the wherewithal and the skill and the right team behind you. But you brought up something at the very beginning that I wanted to talk about, because for people who are maybe even younger than me, this may not be something that is scary, but for people that are a little bit older, we have these like revolutions of technology where we moved into .com, and then we moved, like you said, we moved into this social world, and everything was video, and now we're in AI, and it seems to be moving quicker than before. So how do you feel, and I know we don't know the answer, but what do you see in the next 2 years, 5 years, 7 years of just, not just as an agent, but like maybe just day-to-day life? Like how is AI going to be implemented even more?
Yeah, so one of the reasons why it's being adapted so quickly, and which is very, very different than all previous tech we've had, is you don't need to know how to interact with it perfectly. You just need to know how to articulate your thoughts. We've all had those problems with voice assistants, whether it's Alexa or Google Home, where you don't phrase it just perfectly, and therefore it doesn't turn down the temperature of your Nest hallway thermometer. Like, those days are gone. Because these things are so intelligent in the way that we articulate as human beings, you don't have to say anything perfectly anymore. The same way, if you were to hire a website coder, you don't need to know anything about coding, but as long as you kind of can articulate what you want from a website, the person on the other end is professional enough to be able to interpret your broken thoughts into what your desires are. We do that as agents all the time. We sit across the table from a buyer, they kind of articulate you want, and what the perfect home for them or the perfect neighborhood crystallizes in our minds because we know what they're trying to communicate. So therefore, this ability to interact with this technology in a very human way where you don't need, DOS, or you don't need command, or you don't need to know how the things work, or all these things, just to be able to be human, I think that adaptation will just happen so fast, and it's going to happen everywhere. It's going to be amazing for our elderly people to have being able to communicate. It's going to do wonders when it comes to science and medicine.
Yeah.
And so the thought that it won't have a massive impact on the real estate industry is one of those little selfish things we have as agents. It's going to transform every aspect of your life. It's going to touch everything. And I hope the lesson that most of us remember of the internet happening, at least we can identify that we know the impact the internet had on our lives. Yeah. And then again in 2007, when the smartphone comes along, right. I mean, just think about our day-to-day lives by accident, interacting with the internet by accident 30 times before you have your second cup of coffee. I mean, that's just where we are, and it's going to happen fast. And here's the thing that where my empathy comes in for real estate agents is technology is not apathetic. Like, it doesn't care that someone's having a hard time implementing it. It's not going to slow down and wait for us, right? And so we as a group of professionals need to find a place where we can help each other take it on, because it won't wait for us. It won't slow down. It doesn't care. And if you thought the internet was fast, or if you thought social media adoption was fast, this will be another level.
Before, Kathy, I want to get into primetime a little bit, but I want to ask you, is there any part of it that scares you? Are you worried that we're getting into a Terminator 2 Judgment Day sort of situation?
Is that for me?
No, that's for Michael. Oh. Or Kathy, you too. I'm curious.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I say please and thank you to all AI. I'm very polite. I try to let them know that if they do come in for us, that I'm one of the good ones all the time. Yeah, I've got apprehensions for it. But I also do see that very much like social media. You can't blame the platform for the bad or the good things that social media can do. Right? I see so much upside as for humanity, maybe, the environmental, inventions that will come along, all these things. I'm a very positive person. I think human beings generally are fairly underrated as far as how good we are to each other. I think if there's one thing, we've got a problem in our real estate industry. I wonder if the general public really knew how good we were as humans, our perception would be a lot different. I'm very positive. I think the amount of good that can be done by good people is very upside, but I'm not naive to not think that, scamming people, I'm very concerned about, fake voices and fake avatars of, your grandson calling you, asking you for money. I mean, there's going to be a lot of that stuff, but that's just, that's a byproduct of the change. But I'm very positive about how it's going to impact society. I think I have to be.
I agree. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. Sivag or Michael or Kathy, I don't know if you guys saw what Sam Altman from ChatGPT has released, the orb. Did you see that? Or did you guys? So basically what it is it's a way to counter if a bot is interacting with you. So it takes a digital scan of your eye, and then it determines, so like if you were to go create a deep fake of Josh Katz, they would know that it's fake because it doesn't have my retinal scan. So it's really cool. Like, to your point, Michael, is like these AI companies and these massive thought leaders in this space are even thinking about the opposite side already and mitigating it from the beginning, which I think is awesome. Like, they clearly see that the good outweighs the bad in this. Kathy, before we go, I know you have a pretty special announcement for your next primetime session. So can we talk about that
May
for a little
28th.
bit?
May 28th, 10 o'clock Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern time. If you're in between, figure it out. We are going to have a very special guest with Michael. So you're getting a snippet of it here. You're going to get about 50 minutes of it. And we're having to pull the reins. He was like, 50 minutes? I can't do it in that. And we're not doing all that, but we are just so excited to have him as a part of the specialty of what Realty ONE Group really is and the culture. Can you just see Josh and Sivag? He's such a good fit for our culture. The care that he has, just extremely genuine and authentic, and I'm just super excited about that. And that will be on May the 28th. So get your stuff together, go to the One Resource Guide, download your watch party. Let's make it a party.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Michael, thank you for joining us. I hope you all enjoyed this, and we'll see him on the 28th on the ONE Primetime. And I want to have you back on. I just want to meet you for a drink. I feel like you and I could talk about this for hours.
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, do you guys have a 5-hour version of this podcast? Maybe we could dig into it.
The uncut version.
We also have it after hours.
Yeah.
Sivag, I know you have been diligent in this, but aren't you proud to hear Josh saying, I'd love to just sit down and have a drink with you and talk about AI?
I mean, I'm a changed human now, Kathy. I really am.
It's been night and day.
The stuff that I do with ChatGPT now, I mean, ChatGPT has my garden saved, and it now tells me how I should be watering each individual plant. It has all the spices in my kitchen saved, so I can build recipes on the dime. I mean, it's literally my assistant now.
And we've introduced Josh to Claude recently too.
And Claude
For
too,
better
which,
scripting.
which is better for scripting. No, it's all good things like this, and I love talking about it. So thank you again, Michael. I really appreciate it.
Welcome.
Yeah, that's all we got. Until next time. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And Kit.
Good.